And we are live. What's going on, folks? Welcome to a special edition Ryder Cup preview show. This is episode number 33 of the Nuclear Golf Podcast. My name is John. I'm the co-owner of Nuclear Golf and TW Legion. Joined tonight by my usual co-host, Ryan from JT Legion, Hutch Bennett, one of our Nuclear Golf ambassadors, and a host on this show. Hutch, got your Sunday.
I'm shitty at that. I'm really bad at that. Don't put me in that category. You're too good at it.
And Joey over from Scheffler Fans, and we don't have a win to talk about this week, so that's an upgrade for us here at the Nuclear Golf Pod.
Next week,
but yeah, fellas, on this show, we're gonna get all into the Ryder Cup. Ryder Cup is this week. It's finally here. Bethpage Black, Team Europe versus Team USA. We've been waiting for this for a very long time now. The week's finally here. It kind of feels like Christmas is finally here, week before Christmas, and I mean, we're just 3-4 days away now, and hype is building. Today, there was lots of talk about the money. Saw the UK media all about the money. You guys, it's clearly a narrative that was being pushed today by Sky Sports and some of those, European-backed media outlets. We'll get into that. Talk a little bit about Michael Kim. Got the win at the French Open. It was his first DP World Tour win. I think he did have a win on the PGA Tour before, right? I think it came 7, 8, 9 years ago, somewhere in there. But just get your thoughts on what's coming up this week. And then Michael Kim. Ryan, maybe we'll start with Michael Kim's win. Brooks Koepka kind of wasn't able to get it done late down the stretch, made some bogeys. Michael Kim took advantage. He still needed to make like a huge 16-footer for par on the 18th hole. Just your thoughts on Michael Kim, social media sensation in the golf world, getting it done over in France.
Yeah, I love following Michael on social. He's a great follow. He'll give you the rundown after every round. He'll give you the clubhouse deal. He'll give you all of it. Actually, really happy for him to get that W over there. He's put in a lot of work. He's had a really good year, to be honest. Like he's finished. He's had some top finishes. He just hasn't got the W until now. So really nice to see him over there. Like you said, he had to make a long putt for par. He said his bunker shot just didn't roll out like he thought it was going to. And then I think it was like a 16-footer or something like that down the hill. So that was a pretty crazy way to win it at the end. Oddly on a par 3. But at the same time, he had some stiff competition in Brooks and some guys there at the end. With 5 holes left, you didn't know who was going to win that golf tournament. I couldn't sit here and tell you I thought it was going to be Michael Kim, but ended up getting the W. So good for him, man.
Hutch, what did you think of the putt?
Man, I mean, like Ryan said, he kind of put the pressure on himself right there with the lackluster setup for that putt, but credit where credit's due, man. He rolled it in. He's one of the more entertaining guys he's a great follow. One of the more entertaining guys you can find in the game. And honestly, if he's able to take his game to the next level, that'd just be another check mark for the tour, because he's got such a big personality and he's so really not marketable, maybe not the right word, but he's what you're looking for. He's in your demo for people that you're trying to attract.
Well, we talked about it. Like, I think the PGA is kind of finally leaning into being a little bit more transparent about just the players and how things work. Because I mean, the process of a professional golf player is like pretty behind the scenes. Like, there's a lot of stuff, and that's just kind of how golf is. These guys aren't going to open their entire worlds to the process of things. So he's really kind of changed that online and allowed people to see the process of coming, missing a cut or, being on the line or not being able to qualify for an event. So to see it kind of pan through to be able to win a professional event in full transparency like that, I think is really good for all parties, including himself, not only to grow his social media brand, but I think it's just really cool to kind of see the behind the scenes of how much work it actually takes to even get to that point.
All right. I want to get into some Ryder Cup preview stuff, fellas. Team USA on the course this morning. Obviously, Team Europe was out there last week, right? They had a couple of practice rounds at Bethpage Black. Team USA kind of getting their first look at the course there out there this morning for the official practice rounds. Just want to go through some of the 4 balls that they were going out there with. There was Bryson DeChambeau was with JT, Ben Griffin, and Cam Young. We also had Scotty Scheffler was with JJ Spawn, Harris English, and was it Russell Henley?
Mm-hmm.
Russell Henley. And then we had Xander, Cantlay, Morikawa, and Burns were together. Those were the 12 guys out there. Just initial thoughts. Do you guys think there's anything to take from this? Is this kind of the four, like some of the groupings that we're going to be looking at for pairing? Or is this just kind of get loose, get out there, get a feel for the course? Or do you think, Ryan, this is probably something to take a closer look at? These are probably the guys that they're going to be playing with.
I mean, I think there's a good chance, going back to the old Azinger pod system and stuff. I mean, based off of kind of the rumors I know that I've heard, and I'm sure we've all heard. I mean, I think Keegs has kind of got what he wants in his head so far. So I think there's a good chance, and I could definitely see some good matchups in those if you want to call them pods, for sure. So I do think that this is going to be a little bit what we look at. Obviously, they will adjust if shit hits the fan come Friday afternoon or something, or Saturday morning. But I do think that there's probably a good chance that Captain Keegan is sending these guys out for this reason. So,
Hutch?
Yeah, I mean, my question being, like, out of that grouping that you said that Bryson was with, and the grouping that you said that Scotty was with, like, who do you think is more likely to be partnered with each of those guys?
Scotty and Russell, and then Bryson probably with Ben Griffin. I feel like that has kind of been the two more popular picks. So.
And I also think, and I know I sent this to our group today, but I also think Bryson and JT is actually a hell of a raucous matchup for anybody, only because JT's not hitting the ball straight off the tee, and Bryson pretty much hits it straight off the tee, and he's super long, and JT's the best wedge player in the game. So I kind of think that could be like a powerhouse pairing. For me, when I know a couple weeks ago I said I wasn't quite sure, but the more I think about it and the more I reflect on JT's season, I can kind of see that being like a powerhouse little pairing.
JT's about to turn up, though. This is the Ryder Cup. I mean, you guys saw the whole rigmarole, all that stuff they did this morning when they got there, right? Like the hype video that Ryder Cup USA put out with the guest speakers and the national anthem, or America the Beautiful, or whatever they did. It's hard not to get fired up about it, but that's the kind of thing that we talked about. I know we talked about it last week. Like, JT just turns into an animal when it comes to this. And I like what you're saying with him and Bryson being together, because there wouldn't be a more fan friendly, like in terms of ability, than Bryson and JT being together. I think those are two of the more vocal players on the team, despite what Brandel Chamblee might think about Bryson.
Yeah, I think it'd be the most fiery duo you could put out there for sure, because they both have no problem raising the roof anywhere they go.
And I'd love to see them in a match. I don't care what it is, in a match against like Rory and Shane Lowry. Like, you got 100%. Your baby faces, although it's hard to call Bryson a baby face. But you got that, and then you got your just straight heels with Rory and Shane. Like, that would be an electric matchup.
Okay, before Joey, sorry, before we go any farther, we need to touch on the Brandel Chamblee comment about Bryson. This sort of made headlines today, so let's read it. Brandel said, quote, "Bryson plays most of his golf on a tour where he mostly could be in the witness protection program. Nobody watches. He doesn't get any attention. So when he does come out, there's a bit of a circus barker element to it to drum up some interest for himself. He didn't talk about playing on a team and how much that meant. What he did do was talk about his YouTube channel, which, if we want to talk about the numbers that are generated from that, it's pretty dubious. I have no doubts that bots are generating a lot of those views. There may be some interest as well, but that's what he wants to talk about, not the team, not the Ryder Cup." So Brandel Chamblee teeing off on Ryder Cup player, Bryson DeChambeau, the live star, YouTube star, whatever you want to say. He's a huge star in the game at this point. It's crazy that that Brandel is basically saying that Bryson's YouTube views are fake. I mean,
yeah, I mean,
kind of ridiculous.
Pot me. First off, before I go in on that, what does Brandel Chambly know about botting streams or whatever? Like, what does he know? Can anybody tell me? Because I don't think he.
So I mean,
I don't think he knows anything. Is he like on some Kendrick Lamar stuff? Like, what is he like? We faking our streams here? Like, what are we doing? He doesn't know that. And then second off, it's kind of pot meat kettle for him to sit there and say that Bryson's all about me. I want to be the center of attention. When you go out and you say stupid shit like he's saying right there, all he wants is people looking at him. That's all he wants. He is the exact same thing. It's a reflection. He's holding a mirror up is what he's doing. It's a reflection of who he is as a person, as an announcer, as whatever. And I get that you got to have hot takes and you got to have your this and your that and whatever. That's how you survive in this world, in that media world. That's how you survive. Like the craziest people have the most longevity, whatever. That's fine. But good God, man, like you got to let it go at some point. Like, and maybe he's just so dug in on this live thing at this point that he can't let it go, even for a week. Even for a week for the Ryder Cup, he can't let it go.
That's my biggest thing with the timing. Like, why now? Like, should you not be like using all that energy to be like behind USA?
Because more people are watching right now.
Yeah, I know.
More people are watching right now than they were when they were watching the Pro Core Championship. And he probably could have said the same thing on the pre-show for the Pro Core about Bryson not being there, but nobody would have seen it because nobody was watching. This is just a time for Bryson or for Brandel to make everything about Brandel. This is what he's doing, yeah. And he got it because we're talking about it.
Hold on, there's another quote, Ryan. He's talking about Bryson and how he's a difficult teammate to be playing with. He said, quote, "I think he's going to be such a difficult person to get paired with. No doubt he's one hell of a golfer. No doubt he has his moments of generosity with the fans. I've heard about them. But he's an odd duck when he's trying to blend in with the team, and he has so many potential bulletin board mistakes." Now, my thoughts on this, I think Brandel's clearly just picking out the live golfer and finding something to talk about here. That's what's going on, right? Like
the American live golfer, because he ain't talking about John Rahm or Terrell Hatton.
No, but this is the 1 week it feels like, the guys can be unified. I mean, he's a live guy, but I mean, he's coming together with the other guys to represent Team USA. You'd think we could just put this aside for a week.
And you know what? It's just so overblown because all these guys are still friends. Like it'd be one thing if you had somebody on Team USA who's just like, man, I hope everybody on live dies or whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? All these guys are still friends. So what are we like this? The energy is in the wrong place. We're focused on the wrong thing. Brandel's focused on the wrong thing, which is making everybody else focus on the wrong thing, which is just, it's insanity. He's insane. And I hate it because what we should be focusing on is that the Ryder Cup is such a perfect event. And this is one of the more hyped Ryder Cups that I can remember. And it's in New York. Like the fans are going to be crazy. It's going to be electric. They're going to have 1 million people there. That's an exaggeration. I'm prone to do that. I don't know how many people they're going to have there. There's a lot going to be there. The friggin' president is going to be there, like on the first tee on Friday morning. Like, what are we? Come on, bro. Like, come on.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
I think there's a few points to make about Brandel, and I kind of agree with the sentiment of everything you guys have said. The only thing, if I could twist it in my head, is maybe he's trying to combat some of that pay rhetoric that the European side is pushing, that narrative that these guys aren't a team, they need to be paid to be part of a team, yada yada yada. Maybe he's just trying to fire up the American team and maybe Bryson. That's the only like reverse psychology type of twist I can put on it. But at the same time, like I'm not sure why he's voicing this opinion at this point. Now, do I think that Bryson is a harder guy to naturally pair with based off of his personality and his game and the type of game he plays? Yes, I think we could probably all find some common ground there. But I think once these guys are in New York, I don't see any reason that any guy wouldn't want to be paired with another guy. This is the biggest Ryder Cup, I think, probably of my lifetime. And I think most of these guys probably feel that way too, along with what you said, Hutch, about the hype of this one. So I kind of don't know what his motives are, other than just
Look at me.
self-grandizing and like, hey, look at what I'm saying here. I'm bringing some kind of pizzazz to this thing, and truly he's not. And unless it's motivating, if that's bulletin board material for Bryson, I'm down with it. But if they don't take it that way, my guess is that they're probably just ignoring everything he has to say.
Well, at least the bad partner is like relative to the Ryder Cup, the YouTube and the bots, like that's entirely irrelevant to anything that happens this week. And just again, I mean, that's strictly just trying to get clicks so that bots.
It makes him sick that a live guy can do something outside of the PGA Tour, is what it is. I mean, that's what it comes down to. It makes him physically sick. He's dug in so hard at this point that I'm not even really sure what to say about it. He's just so dug in. And honestly, I'll say this: if the U.S., if we go out there and kill him, and Bryson goes undefeated or whatever throughout the whole thing, the apology needs to be as loud as the disrespect was.
He would rather us lose and his point be true about Bryson. 100%.
Yeah, I believe that. Yeah.
Might be a bold claim, but
it's true, because he's already got a gravestone on the top of the hill that he's died on against Liv. I assure you, it's already there. Like he's going to be dead and buried on that hill, man. That's just where he's going to die, dude. Like he doesn't care. So
right, Randall's sitting over there like stealing a Young Thug. Did y'all see the Young Thug interview? He's sitting over there. He's like, if we lose, we lose. Whoop dee doo is what he's saying. As long as I'm right about Bryson, whoop dee doo.
All right. Did you guys see the Data Golf ranking or projection of chances of winning the Ryder Cup?
We're a little favorite. Right?
Yeah.
So as of right now, Data Golf says Team USA has a 58.7% chance of winning the Ryder Cup. 33.5% chance that Europe wins. So,
boy, I hear that and I respect that. But if you just look at the rosters on paper, God, it does not feel that way to me. But whew,
they also
I hope I'm wrong.
They have the experience, the chemistry, the momentum. The only thing is that, I mean, USA, again, we've said it 1,000 times, they have like a slight edge statistically and on paper, but name value, Europe has you killed. Again, the momentum, the chemistry, the experience. The only thing stopping them is them having to come to the U.S. and obviously the skewed record for home teams. Like that's all the U.S. really has for them right now, because the rest of it all kind of leans towards Europe. We
have home turf and we have the best player in the world.
Yeah. Which proven with Tiger only gets you so far.
Doesn't mean anything.
And to your stats opinion, Joey, a lot of that stat is skewed by Scotty. And what is that? What has that done for us when Tiger was that guy, right? Like it's not panned out well for the States for sure. So yeah, I mean, I still go back to the eye test. The eye test tells me that chemistry and the dogs on the European team have a slight advantage. I get that we have the home field advantage. I get all that. And the crowds are probably going to be worth maybe 1 to 2 points in this whole thing. But I just think that it's hard for me to get down, and I love that at golf, don't get me wrong, but it's hard for me to get down with the stats on this one, because I think this just transcends stats. This is not a statistical tournament.
All right, here is a statistical stat. From Justin Ray, the stats guy.
Stat Jesus.
Over the last 6 Ryder Cups, the home side has had a plus 27-point differential in foursomes, 37.5 points to 10.5 points. That's a stat.
As a stat. I mean, again, that goes back to USA having that advantage just for it being, in New York. But like, I don't know. It's just I mean, because there's so many scenarios in sports where it's like there's every reason for home advantage and all that, but sometimes the better team that again just like has the momentum and the chemistry. So I don't know. I don't know that it's that big a spread that we were talking about on the percentage chances, but I don't know. I would advise the U.S. to ignore all of that and just try to trust on what you know, because Europe, it just wants to play spoiler. That's their entire goal, and even if they lose, they didn't really lose. Like no one's going to be like, oh, you guys didn't win in New York with hundreds of thousands of people out there. Like, come on.
Yeah, I mean the pressure is clearly on the U.S. Ryder Cup team, right? Like the European team does not have a ton of pressure, despite what Rory said, a couple years ago in Rome about wanting to, winning this Ryder Cup in the States. Despite that, like they have the pressure on them, like they need to do this. They're gonna have all the advantages like on site, so they need to go out there and perform. And there's not going to be a lot of excuse making on the U.S. side for sure. And I do think, to your point, Joey, I think Keegan's probably shielding them from that kind of that kind of bullshit, that kind of, as Nick Saban calls it, that rat poison, like these stats, like these don't mean anything. I mean, you got to show up on the first tee, you got to play. So I don't put a lot of stock in that.
We got to let the naysayers know, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what he said? What he say?
Yeah.
He said lank.
They say.
That's what they say.
Fellas, let's tee up the rosters a little bit. So, well, before we do that, actually, I just want to touch on the points records for both teams going back to 1983. This is courtesy of CBS Sports. Europe has the edge in the 4-ball points since 1983, 88.5 to 71.5. In the foursomes, Europe has the edge again, 86.5 to 73.5. And in the singles, the US has the edge, 122.5 to 117.5. On paper, like, it's pretty close, obviously, right? Like the points separating this over such a large span of time isn't a lot, even if you sum it all up and put it together. So I think we're going to be in for a pretty close cup, to be honest. I don't think any one team's going to run away. That's just my kind of instinct on it. There's too many guys on both sides that are really made for this event. I mean, you could make the case that one team maybe has a few more guys that are potentially better in this type of environment, especially on home soil, maybe. But I mean, we've seen the Euros perform on foreign soil on numerous occasions. I'm just thinking back to Medina. It was Medina, right?
Yeah.
The Ian Poulter and like that whole circus. That was crazy.
I think what gets underestimated.
Didn't Tiger play Martin Keimer that day on Sunday?
I just remember Tiger hit a dart on the par 3 at Medina. Remember, he was like talking to it in the air.
Yeah.
God, good times.
I kind of think too, like a little bit of this is going under the radar, and I'm not quite sure why. Like, I think these guys, first of all, I think Keegan has a different level of intensity than some of these past Ryder Cups. Maybe going back to, I would just say, just as far as Azinger, maybe. Mm-hmm. Like, he has a ton of passion, and the fact that he made the decision to leave himself off this team when he could have clearly made the opposite decision, I think these guys are going to go to freaking battle with him, man. I mean, I think they're going to play with him. I think he has a different team mentality. I think he has a different level of just patriotic values that he brings to the team. Not that any of those other captains aren't patriotic. This is his niche, man. Like the Northeast and Team USA, this is what he lives for. He literally said in a press conference today or yesterday, I think about this every single second of the day. And I think that his attitude is just going to be super infectious to his team. I mean, I cannot say that those guys felt that same way about Zach Johnson. I'm not trying to take away from his captaincy, but I do think that this is a different personality. I think it's different. I just don't think that they can play as hard. I don't think that they played as hard as they will for this guy. I just don't.
I think it's bad.
But I think we'll see a shift for sure. Like if this works out, we're going to see a definite shift in like moving towards younger captains that are still playing that could potentially make the team. And, I think at the time they picked Keegan, nobody was thinking that he was going to make the team, but he clearly rallied around it. But he's a younger guy. He's fiery. He's got ties to that region. Like, we might see just a shift in the way we do it, because clearly, I mean, ever since 08 or whatever, we've been searching for whatever the formula is that Europe has figured out. So we've tried a bunch of different things, and things worked at Whistling Straits, but really hadn't worked otherwise outside of that. So it's one of those things. I would be curious to see how the strategy of picking captains goes in the future, because even if you go with that, like, you can't ignore the fact that Tiger's got to be a captain one day. And if we can patch things up in the game of golf, like, Phil probably needs to be a captain one day. I mean, things like that, you've just got to figure out what's happening, and we'll see. I mean, it's all going to kind of come down to how we play.
Yeah.
We had Keegan Bradley was actually asked, I think today, about, he was talking about, the prospect of playing. Obviously, he decided to move forward with the captaincy, like from the sidelines, not playing. But he said, I've thought about it every second, but I've also thought about how impossible it would be. Like I said earlier, I was picked to do this job as captain, and there's been certain things that I've done during the week or lead up that if I was playing, I don't think I could have done at the level I needed to do them. I catch myself every now and then looking down the fairway, seeing the guys walk down the fairway, and think how badly I'd like to do that, and how badly I'd want to be in the group with Scotty Scheffler and seeing him play and being his teammate. But I feel like I've been called for a bigger cause here to help our guys get ready to play and play at the highest level. So that quote is all you really need to know about Keegan Bradley. I have no doubt that he is all in on being the captain to the best of his abilities. And I think if you break it down, the decision that he made, he did it for the team. He did it for the country. He could have just as easily said, hey, I really want to play. Everybody wants this guy to play, wanted him to play.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, he was picked to be the captain. And in order for him to do that to the best that he can, I think he probably made the right call if you're looking at it from the lens of being the captain.
It's selfless. It does, like Ryan said, like it's going to make these guys go to friggin' war for him. Like they're ready to go for him, because he was so selfless, when honestly his resume stacked up to where if he's not, he should have been on the team. Yeah. And the only reason he's not is because he's the captain.
Yeah. And let's go back to Rome too, where he was controversially or not controversially, however you view it, left off that team, right? Like, his message to some of those guys that he picked towards the end there had to be like, look, man, this was the most heartbreaking moment of my professional career. You have the advantage that I don't have. You have the ability to go out and win this for this team and help be a huge part of this team. So I think that message is going to resonate through all 12 guys, regardless of whether you're Scotty Scheffler or you're Ben Griffin or you're JT, anybody on that team. Everybody is going to resonate with this guy's passion for this team. I think they're going to play harder for him than they did in Rome. That's all I'm going to say.
Who you guys, if you had to pick, just of American players, who you want hitting the first tee shot? The very first one of the whole thing.
I mean, to be 100% fair, on Friday, if Trump is going to be on the first tee, I want Bryson hitting the first tee shot. I really do. I mean, I'm not a huge, look, I'm not a live or die live guy like you, Hutch, but at the same time, like, I'm here for this team. I'm here for this country. Yeah. I want Bryson on the first tee. It's 340 yards because they had to move that tee up slightly because of the grandstand buildup. So it's 396, but it's like 340 to the beginning of that green, right? So I want him standing up there. I want him pounding driver right at the front of the green. Don't miss it right in the rough. That's a bad place, but he draws the ball, so it's all good. I want him pounding that first tee shot right at the green.
He's also the perfect, in terms of like the playing into it, that crowd's gonna be absolutely, regardless of in that moment, if you're a fan there and you even like despise Liv in that moment, Bryson's your guy. Like, I don't care. Like, I don't think anyone's going to be holding grudges. I'm not cheering for him. No, he's going to get that crowd into it. He's going to be rowdy. I would actually love that because nothing's going to get the guys going more than – I mean, like, the risk for reward, if he does miss the fairway, I think it's not a hot start. But if he goes up there and just mashes one and it looks so good, you already got the heat.
I don't see a way that he misses that fairway if you put him out there first, because he's going to be getting everybody pumped up. He don't care. He's wanting the noise. Like, you remember all those years ago when like Bubba stepped on the tee and he was like telling everybody to yell and scream while he was teeing off, and everybody thought that was crazy. Like, Bryson would be doing that. Bryson's about that life. And
that has to be your angle.
This ain't even
send Cam Young out and be like, all right, let's just got to find the fairway and you got
to no.
Does we see somebody take like a 2-iron off the first tee? No, bro. Come on. Like, then we ain't doing that. So no, yeah, I'm with you there. Like, I think Bryson would be my pick if that's the guy. Plus, he's got the Trump connection or whatever with the panel or whatever he's on. Like, he's and this isn't even like me being a live guy. Of course, I am the live guy here, but it ain't even about that. This is
being an American guy.
This is America, bro.
It's America, but it's also the dynamic of that first hole. Like, that first hole is almost, it's not drivable for, I believe I heard McGinley say earlier, maybe Bryson, maybe Rory, and maybe Cam Young, right? Like, those are the only three guys that could get close to the front of that green. Not 7:10 in the morning. I don't know that he's driving the green, but at the same time, like, put one out there 40 yards in front of the green and let's make an early birdie. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's the guy.
All right, especially if we stick Bryson and JT together,
bro.
I want to talk about the rosters a little bit. Talk about the records of the players. Can you guys believe that this is Rory McIlroy's 8th Ryder Cup appearance? Wild, right? 8.
It's a lot.
Justin Rose is making his 7th appearance. Those are kind of the two real big veterans of the European team. And after that, guys making their 4th appearance. Tommy Fleetwood, John Rahm, Tyrrell Hatton, Fitzpatrick, all making their 4th appearance. Hovland and Lowry making their 3rd appearance. Ludwig, McIntyre, and Straka all making their 2nd appearance. And Højgaard's making his 1st appearance. So, I mean, if you break down the record, Rory 16, 13, 4. Justin Rose 14, 9, and 3. Fleetwood 7, 3, and 2. Matt Fitzpatrick actually has the worst Ryder Cup record of anyone. He's 1, 7, and 0. So he's going to be looking for some redemption at Bethpage for sure. Thoughts on Team Europe and which guys you think are going to be standouts? Obviously, 11 of their 12 guys making return appearances to the Ryder Cup.
I'll go with Rahm and Hatton. So I had to stay on brand there for a second. Now, Rory and Lowry too. Like, their team just top to bottom. We've talked about it ad nauseum. Like, it just feels so stacked. But Rahm, McIlroy, Lowry, even Rosie, like, Rosie's not going to get phased by the moment. Like, they've got some veteran guys. This is not going to shake them. Sepp Straka, like, he's a good ass player. Like, I know he's boys with my brother-in-law, but this week it's death to Europe. Like, let's go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, but it's just, they've got a lot of standout players is what I'm saying. It's going to be hard to pick one or two. I'm very shocked to hear Matt Fitzpatrick record.
And also they have a ton of guys in the guys you just mentioned, Rory, Shane, Rosie, Terrell, John, like, those guys have been really clutch in the Ryder Cup as well. Like, they make clutch putts, they make clutch shots. That's a huge advantage, and that is a huge confidence coming into this thing, right? Like, they know that they have those shots in their arsenal. That's in the back of their mind when they're stepping up to any putt, any chip, any shot. Like, they know what's going on. I mean, they've been there, they've done that. Not that JT and some guys don't have that too on the US side, but they have they have a lot of clutch moments that are stuck in my head that are like demons to me, because it's like, man, you know, that putt that Rahm made, that putt that Rose made in Rome, it's just like they know what they have. I mean, so that's why I think it goes back to our previous conversation where it looks like on paper, the eye test says it's like, wow, we're up against a juggernaut here.
You got Rory McIlroy running around the green, getting his Hulk Hogan going. Like, I mean, you know, it's just, there's so many memories, like you say, of them just being cold blooded. Like, even in foreign soil, like they're killers over there, man. It's crazy.
Well, I'd pose the question to y'all. I'm pretty sure USA's 4 rookies to Europe's 1. But if I don't have the stat, but if I remember right, the U.S. rookies have fared fairly well in Ryder Cup play. Is it help or hurt in the scenario? Because obviously, would you rather have the veteran guys that have been in these moments, kind of unfazed by these crowds, just from seeing it so many times, or do the rookies go in there and they're like, dude, I'm fired up. Like, we're here in New York. Like, the crowd's all over here. Like, I don't know which way. Personally, I would like to obviously think it'll help the rookies, but I don't know.
Yeah, there's a couple of different arguments with that, because the one argument is the rookies don't have any scar tissue, right? So they don't have anything to look back at that hurts them. But at the same time, yeah, you want veteran leadership, but I think it's a good mix this year. I think that's the beauty of this team for the US, is that there is veteran leadership. There is guys that have been in the battle, and then there's the guys that don't have any scar tissue, and they can rely on what these guys, the experience that they have. So I think this mix is actually really good, to be honest.
As somebody who's had several injuries and has a lot of scar tissue's bad. So let's like, here's the thing. Like, we're so bad in Ryder Cup, but obviously, I mean, if you're going to debut a rookie, you'd rather do it at home, right? Like, that's less chance of getting rattled. Yeah, I mean, that's so. This is kind of the year to do it. Am I remembering wrong that in 23 Europe did they have a few rookies then? I know they had like Aubert.
Yeah, like they had well, they've got a bunch of guys making their second appearance. Aubert, McIntyre, Straka.
And see, I mean, they did that on home soil. It's just the way to do it.
And they had they had Rasmus's brother, Nikolai, too. So
yeah.
Okay, let's go through the American team. Bit of a different story in terms of overall experience. JT actually happens to have the most experience of anyone on this team. Shout out Ryan. 4th appearance for Justin Thomas here this week. Scotty Scheffler making his 3rd appearance. So is Xander. So is Cantlay. So is Bryson. So is Morikawa. All these guys making their 3rd appearances. Harris English and Sam Burns making their 2nd appearance. And making their 1st appearance, we have Russell Henley, JJ Spawn, Ben Griffin. Who am I missing? There's one more. Who else?
Scotty Scheffler.
No.
No. Russ, Ben, and JJ, you said so far?
Oh, yeah. Russ, Ben, JJ. There's one more. I'm just missing it. Anyways.
Is it Burns? No, Burns has played before.
Burns has played.
Oh, no, neither.
Has
to be a top 6.
Cam
Young. Yes. Thank you, Ryan.
Yeah.
Cam Young making his 1st appearance. We go through the records of these guys. JT 7-4-2, Scheffler 2-2-3, Schauffele 4-4-0. Cantlay's got a pretty strong record, 5-2-1. Bryson 2-3-1, Colin 4-3-1, Harris English 1-2-0, Sam Burns 1-2-0. So, I mean, overall, like, pretty decent results, I would say, for the American guys that are playing. I mean, we've got the guys, obviously, that are teeing it up for the first time. Cam Young, I mean, it's all irrelevant how guys were playing coming into this week now at this point, I would say, right? Like, it's one thing. It all matters when you're trying to make the team how well you're playing, but it's now just a clean slate. It's a restart. Who knows how the guys are going to perform this week? Obviously got some reps under their belt in Napa, right? And then a lot of the Euro guys were playing the BMW PGA prior to coming over to the States, right? So they've had a couple weeks, but those guys, there was actually a picture of a bunch of the European team practicing at a course up in New York this week. It almost looked like a buddy's golf trip. I think you had I saw Rahm, Lowry, Oberg, Rory,
and Terrell.
Who else? Terrell. And there was one other. I want to say there was one other guy. Or was it just the 5?
Might have been Rasmus too.
Maybe Rasmus, yeah. But looks like those guys have been keeping in shape, playing golf in the lead up to the Ryder Cup as well. They're not just going to come over to the States and then not play practice rounds off site before getting to Bethpage this week, right?
Yeah. And I mean, I think the only thing that I took from the European records that you read, John, and the USA records is you got a couple of juggernauts like Rory and Rosie, who's been in all of these over the last decade, essentially, or more. And they obviously they're going to have a little bit more in the win column. But I don't put a ton of stock in that. I mean, where that comes to me in play more is in the singles. Like if you read off a singles, then that's where it comes off to me, because every pairing is different, every venue is different, every Ryder Cup is different, every course setup is different. So when it comes to single one-on-one, it's just mano-a-mano. And I think if you compared singles records to those guys, I think that's where I would like to look at those stats more. But I don't put a ton in the previous records, to be honest. Because look at that. I mean, Tiger Woods doesn't have the greatest record in the Ryder Cup. I mean, let's be honest. So that doesn't make him any less of a competitor or any less of a player. So
it's all Steve Stricker's fault.
Yeah, he putted too good.
Well,
fellas, it was always his partner's fault.
One thing that's looking pretty good actually is the weather. It's looking like we're going to have sunny skies, either sunny or cloudy skies, depending on which day you look at it, with temperatures in kind of the low 70s, I think it is. So it's like pretty solid Ryder Cup weather for fall. There's no real rain in the forecast or anything like that. So that's a good thing as we approach Friday.
We should have had Weather Mike come on so we could get a love life update while he was here.
Yeah, that would have been good.
Bless his heart. Well, but I mean, that's the thing. Like it's going to be chilly in the mornings though, right? Because I saw in that hype video the U.S. put out this morning that firefighter that was talking, like you could see his breath. Yeah, so it was chilly this morning for sure. A bunch of the guys were wearing hoodies and jackets and whatever. So those morning rounds. And that kind of goes back to your point about what you said, Ryan, about Bryson hitting that first tee shot. Like maybe harder to get up close to the green or get on the green at 7 o'clock in the morning when it's in the mid to upper 40s. Like, it's maybe a little bit tougher, but it sounds like the weather's going to be fantastic though. No rain is the biggest thing you could ask for.
No, absolutely. Okay, let's get into the news of the day, you could call it. The news of the day, the narrative of the day being pushed by European media outlets regarding Ryder Cup payments. So essentially, the story is players on the American team this year are set to receive $500,000, right? I believe 300,000 for charity.
Yeah.
And an additional $200,000 is being what's classified as stipend, which players can do whatever they want with, right? If they want to keep that, if they want to donate that additional $200,000 to charity, they can. But there's no denying that the European team is using this as a little bit of a, as a talking point to kind of get people going, right? They're using this as a means to try and show that their guys care more about the Ryder Cup more. We don't need to play for money. That's kind of the narrative that's being pushed.
I'll tell you what Europe clearly doesn't care more about is charity, and I think that's terrible.
That's
a terrible
100%.
Hey, no, we're
Who
good.
Cares?
$1,000.
Breaking news: Europeans do not care about sick kids.
Or
That's
capitalism.
what it is.
Sorry.
That's what it. And honestly, the ultimate like power move, like pull it out and just flop it on the table would be for every one of those American players to take that extra $200,000 and donate it to charity. We say we sent $6 million to charity.
Yeah.
What'd y'all do? You
Actually,
turned down your money.
Actually, what we did is we took the whole 500 and we doubled it, and we gave it to our independent charities. That's just what we did.
Yeah.
Yep.
Out of Bryson DeChambeau's live signing bonus.
And then Luke Donald could go and they could take that bulletin board material and they could rip it right off the wall because it's no longer bulletin board material at all.
It is wild because, yes, in fairness, it's mostly the European team just being able to make an angle out of it and probably get a little bit of drama and a little bit of, like you said, bulletin board material just to fire things up. But the notion that just because first off, the PGA of America kind of pioneered this with Keegan and wanted to do something a little bit different. It's not like the players were making this stance this year of we deserve to be paid and we're not. That's not the case. It was simply that they are trying to not even incentivize, because for most of these guys, even if they were to take the $200,000, I think they'd rather win the Ryder Cup because the $200,000, not that it's pocket change, but for them, I think
it is to some of them.
But it is to them. I think $200,000 to every person on this team is merely pocket change. I do believe that. So
it's just kind of crazy to even relay that back to being if you think that's going to change their reasoning behind playing, it has zero influence except trying to be good people and give some money to charity.
Yeah.
Or exercise capital.
You can take your 10% out and give it to your caddy or whatever, and then just donate the rest. That's
fair.
I think would be the most fair thing to do. And honestly, that's what every one of those guys should do, just to take whatever bulletin board material or whatever the Europeans are talking about and just say, here, this is what we did. We got the money and we gave it all away.
Yeah. One thing we do know, though, is that there was a very coordinated effort to push this talking point today. This was the talking point of the day. You had Sky Sports analyst Rob Lee, who was on the Five Clubs golf podcast or live show today. They did a Ryder Cup preview show. He said, quote, "This might be unfair, but I've always had the feeling that the Ryder Cup means more to the European players than it does to the American players." He went on to say, "Add to that the fact the American players are getting paid. They're getting money up front. We don't want any money," he said. So not only the fact that the players are getting paid, but also this narrative that the Europeans care more about the Ryder Cup than the Americans. I've seen that today several times. And Keegan Bradley's actually responded to this. He said, "I don't really get that. I think the goal here was that the charity dollars hadn't been raised in 25, 26 years, and that's what we started out doing." He said, "PGA of America wanted to bring the Ryder Cup into the present day. The charity dollars hadn't changed since 1999, and they asked me to sort of shepherd their way into making it into 2025. He said, "I just see it as a whole lot of money going to charity, and we're going to take a lot of crap," Xander Schauffele told the Associated Press. Bradley said, "I think for everyone, it's a personal decision. A lot of guys aren't comfortable sharing what they're going to do with their money, but we're going to donate. I don't donate to charities to publicize what we're doing. These guys on our team are incredible people, and they do a lot of incredible things with charity dollars and with their foundations." So I think Keegan Bradley said he's personally going to be donating his entire $500,000, I believe I saw.
Yeah.
So good on him. I mean, look, we don't know how much charity dollars are coming from the European side.
And also Keegan debunked a little piece of that report too, because he, I think the report was what they're getting this money up front. Keegan said none of this happens until afterwards. So it's not like these guys are given a check and they're, oh wow, this is incentive to play. None of this happens until afterwards. And guess what? It happens whether they win or they freaking lose. So it doesn't matter. That's a big key. That's a big key in this.
That's the other thing. It's no one would have denied the team, been like, "Oh, if you don't give me a $200,000 stipend, I'm not playing for the Ryder Cup team." And you're right. It doesn't affect whether you win or lose. So it has zero imprint on your ability to play, your ability to want to play in the Ryder Cup, to accept the nomination. Again, I like it. I like that we're playing into the drama of the Ryder Cup. It makes it feel like it's here. It's happening. It's the week of. But if you're trying to make any real sense out of it, it's nonsense. It's crazy.
Yeah, we had obviously the comments from Rob Lee over on Sky, and I saw Luke Donald was also asked about it. He was saying every one of them was just like, no, this isn't a week to get paid. That was his response when the European team found out that the US players would be getting paid. So I honestly think a lot of this narrative is just kind of planted by the media. I don't know if the European team is in on pushing that narrative forward or not, but I'm seeing, the Sky Sports of the world for sure. They asked on multiple different interviews, for thoughts on this. They know what the European team response is going to be. So might as well say it and fire up the base over across the pond, right?
I think this is a media narrative, and it's put out there to invoke the fandom. That's all it is. It's not. I don't think these players give two shits whether somebody reports that they're donating this amount of dollars or getting paid this amount of dollars. I don't think that they care, to be honest. And my guess is that Rory McIlroy and John Rahm probably are not thinking, oh wow, this is some kind of weird advantage for us that these guys are getting paid. Like 0% chance I think that they're talking about this inside the locker room.
Right.
They're all probably still cashing their sponsor checks either way.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Those be coming year round, son. So these guys are also high. That's the other thing that just kind of irks me about this, because I know you kind of touched on it a little bit, Joey, but like $200,000 is to every one of these guys, except for maybe Højgaard, maybe Ben Griffin. Maybe those guys are still a little bit early in this, to where $200,000 may matter a little bit. I'm not saying matter a lot, but maybe even just move the needle just a touch, just a little touch. To everybody else, $200,000 means nothing. Nothing. So what are we talking about? Like,
yeah,
who cares? They're getting paid.
Well, and $200,000 in Europe gets taxed to like what, 35,000 probably. So I think that's probably they don't want the money. Just,
We just not trying to pay taxes, son.
What we don't talk about, though, in all of this is that this is a massive commercialized event. Like, the PGA of America is making tons of money. There's so many sponsors that are involved in all of this. And who's the main product in this entire thing? It's the players that are playing. So it is what it is, right? Like, I don't know who wanted money. The stipend, $200,000 is not going to move the needle for any of those guys. Like you said, Ryan, it really does nothing whatsoever for these guys. These guys that have made this team are the top players in the world. There's nobody on that team that's hurting for money or needs any extra money to play for their country. So I don't know where it comes from, whether it was one or two guys. It is what it is. I don't think that it's changing anything. I don't think it affects motivation whatsoever, like you mentioned. And I hope that we can just go out there and enjoy the Ryder Cup. This has been a huge build up to this event. I don't think we've ever had build up to a golf event like we have this Ryder Cup at Bethpage. There's a parking spot selling for $3,000 for the week.
Is it Tigers?
It's my spot. A TW spot. No, I don't know who would pay that, but I guess if you're rich and you're going to the Ryder Cup, right, and you need a parking spot, and you pay for that. But fellas, I think we've covered a lot of ground on this show. We've really teed up what's to come this week. It's going to be fascinating to watch the Ryder Cup. It all starts on Friday. We are going to be back with 2 special edition shows coming up this week. We're going to have Friday night show immediately following the conclusion of round 1 play, I should say, as this begins on Friday. We're also going to be live on Sunday. Timing of our show on Sunday is TBD, but we will be live Friday night and Sunday. We will post the times that we're going live. Fellas, it's been a great show. Thanks so much to everyone who's joined us tonight, live on X, live on YouTube. As always, you can find us after for the full replay over on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon Music. I hope everybody enjoys the Ryder Cup. Any closing thoughts before we get to Friday? Obviously, let's just go around the horn. who do you guys think is going to win the Ryder Cup before we sign off?
Ooh.
USA. Period. By 2.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be tight. I love that we're gonna get some good action, but USA has just got it's. You're not walking into Bethpage and taking over our trap. We're taking the trophy back.
Walk into your trap, take over your trap, son.
We're not doing it.
Oh, I love that. That's such an Atlanta thing for you to say.
Hey, I'm close.
Yeah, well, Atlanta needs something after that shit we did yesterday. God, yeah, I think it's America. I don't know. I just got a feeling. I've sat here for weeks and said that Europe is stacked top to bottom, but for some reason, I just got a feeling. I don't know what it is. It's in my loins.
I personally couldn't tell you who's going to win this one.
No.
I think it's
I'll tell you
you want to win.
I do think that it's going to be close for whatever reason. I just know that the European team's strong. I definitely get the home court advantage here. I think it's going to be wild at Bethpage. And if there was ever a time for the Americans to win on home soil, this would be it, just given the ruckus New York crowd. I could see the Euros, some of those guys potentially getting a little bit rattled. It's just going to take something little to kind of aggravate them, right? Rory even kind of suggested that something's going to happen. So it's going to be interesting to see what that's going to be. As the only non-American on this panel, look, I don't have necessarily a rooting interest at the same level that you guys do. But yeah, I'm not going to say it. I don't want to piss anybody off.
Oh my God. All right. John's picking Europe, boys.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I'm not cheering for Europe.
Like, I didn't say you're cheering for them. I'm saying you're picking them. And I almost picked them.
I'm only picking them because 3 guys on this panel picked the Americans, and somebody's got to do it. But
I mean, listen, I almost picked them, and I'm as American as it comes. But
did you?
God, I mean, seriously, like from top to bottom, I just feel like they're stacked.
Yeah.
But I just got a feeling, so I'm just riding the feeling. I'm just riding that. I'm gonna miss you guys though this weekend though, not being here to do the Friday show with you and the Sunday show.
I heard Joey's also not going to be on. So
look, I got to take my talents to Starkville and cheer on the balls. It's someone's got to do it, right?
That's all right.
The difference in this Ryder Cup, the variable is Keegan Bradley. That's why America wins this week. He's the difference maker. It's not going to be a putt. It's not going to be this. It's going to be the motivation. It's going to be Keegan Bradley. He's the difference maker this week.
We get a new Captain America. So long, Patrick Reed.
Fellas, I look forward to seeing you guys on Friday and Sunday. Ryan, are you there for those shows?
Yes, sir.
You're there for both shows. We will be welcoming back Tim Bowman and Mike Carbone to the panel.
Listen, if I get home in time on Sunday, I'll try to hop on with you guys. We'll see. I want to watch it. I want to watch the end of it.
Sounds good. We'll see if you need to get on and fix Tim's audio before the show.
You guys can FaceTime me while I'm driving back from Orlando. That'll be just fine. I'll walk him through it.
All right. Sounds good, fellas. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining us. It's been a great show, and we will catch you on Friday night following first round action from the Ryder Cup.